What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Urban Chestnut Brewing Company, and they're out of St. Louis, Missouri, and this is their Stammtisch, and this is release number 8 in their Irreverence series. So they're calling this one a German-style Pilsner that comes in at 5.4% alcohol by volume, 35 IBUs at the time of review, and this bottle is just under 2 months old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Curtis, for this beer, so big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Curtis hooked me up with, and he hooked me up with 5 different St. Louis area beers, 2 of which are from Urban Chestnut, and this is the first of the 2 that I am reviewing, and this is actually the first ever beer that I'm trying from Urban Chestnut, and I'm pretty pumped up because I've heard pretty good things about them over the years, and he gave me one of these and a Czech-style Pilsner, so I get a chance to do a German style versus a Czech style. I should have probably did the actual side-by-side here, but we're gonna do one at a time, especially when I'm checking out a brewery for the first time. Usually I like to separate the reviews. But anyway, they have a little spiel here on the side. I'll just read the first sentence because it's pretty much gives you an understanding of the name of this beer, but it's Stammtisch is an informal group meeting held on a regular basis, more directly translating to table for regulars. And they just talk about how this is just a German-style Pilsner that you can pair with a bunch of different stuff, especially friends and family. Anyway, so let's crack this one open, get it into the glass, and see what we got going on here. Now, I don't know if this is like their, flagship beer or anything. I don't know too much about Urban Chestnut outside of the fact that I knew they do a lot of like old world styles. But anyway, let's get this into the glass, see what we got going on. So I love this big bottle. This is not a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle. It is not. It's actually, based on what it says on the side here, it is 1.2 fluid ounce bottle, which means this is 17.2, which is interesting to me that it's not a 16.9, but I really like the look of it. A very like classic look to it, in my opinion. Anyway, that looks beautiful. I will say, however, there is a lot of fine sediment. I don't know if that's going to come off on camera, but typically, these are very crystal clear, and they might look clear on camera. Like I can see I can see my hand clearly through the glass, but it is suspended in animation, very fine particulate. It has almost a 3-finger of this bright soap sudsy looking head. It's bright white. Hold it up to the glass. It looks beautiful outside of that, that sediment. Like, not really typical. You want it to be crystal clear, but it is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't affect the overall enjoyment factor of this one. Let's get a nose. Oh, it smells divine. A lot of, I would say, crackery and bready malt component here. There is a decent kick of like that sulfur note you get from a lager. Some people say lager funk, but yeah, a little bit of sulfur. It has a nice like lemony, lemongrass type of fruitiness. Yeah, like a bright lemon. And a little bit of like a lemongrass, like floral kind of tinge. It's a little bit of an herbaceousness here as well. Yeah, like a spicy herbaceousness. That actually smells very proper for the style. Oh, it smells fucking, let me tell you, for the style, it smells absolutely phenomenal. It really does. And this is a style, Czech-style Pilsners, German-style Pilsners, Czech-style Pilsners, that they're not my favorite when it comes to lagers. Like, I'd rather want like a Czech dark or a German black lager. I like the darker lagers, but I will say without question, this smells to a T what this style should smell like. And I'm here for it. Let's get into it. Prost, everybody. Thanks again to Curtis. That's really nice. I dig the finish. Man, there's a nice complexity to this one that I wouldn't say I wasn't anticipating, but a little bit more going on. Buying this one straight up medium body. For the ABV, I think people would say it's full body, but in general, as an overall beer, this is like medium body, which is really nice for 5.4%. The mouthfeel is super crisp. It's really clean, and it has a smoothness that you want from it. Like, you want this to be crisp. You want it to be effervescent on the palate. You want it to be quite clean, but there's a smoothness that makes it so easy to drink that I really do appreciate. The taste right from that crackery, bready, kind of white bread, malt character hits me, dives underneath the palate. It's along for the ride. It's omnipresent, never steps in the way, just, takes those hops, props them up, but not too much. It's definitely noticeable the first half of the palate, but props up the rest of the beer. Right after that, there's this nice lemony kind of kick. There's like a lemon rind, a lemon oil, and that transitions into a lemongrass for me, and then it turns floral on like the second half of the palate, like 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through the palate. There's this nice floral kind of character that hits. There is like a hovering sulfur note that's not too big. It's noticeable. If you don't like that lager funk in any kind of lager you drink, or maybe it's something that you notice or you're a little bit more susceptible to picking up in a beer, then I would say that maybe this would be a little bit too much for you. For me, it's not, and I like it, and it kind of lets me know that I am drinking a lager of some sort. Yeah, if you're sensitive, I don't think that'd be this would maybe be one for you. Again, it's not overblown, but it's definitely noticeable. And then on the finish, I get this nice spicy herbaceousness, kind of like almost like a rye, or maybe even like a slight like coriander, like a little bit of a coriander on the finish. Very slight though. And that herbaceous kick is really nice. This finish is mild to moderately bitter, more approaching moderate. Very dry too. It's semi to full on dry. This isn't sweet to begin with. There's a nice malt sweetness at the forefront, but it really balances out on the back of the palate. Just super easy to crush though. Like this, I could see maybe it building up the bitterness, maybe the dryness for some, myself included. But I think I could easily drink one or two of these big bottles and be happy with it. And look at the fucking lacing. Listen, you get brownie points for that. That fucking lacing is absolutely top tier. Holy shit. And the sediment doesn't seem like it played a role outside of just not looking like a regular filtered German-style Pilsner. Yeah, this is really good. For the style, it's really good. Like stylistically speaking, from an American brewery, this is up there. Is it the best I've ever had? Probably not, but this is like 4.5 and higher. I'd say 4.5, 4.6 for the style. Personal preference, a little bit lower, just a little bit lower. But I still think this is really nice. So I'm going to give a Stammtisch from the release number 8 in the Reverence series. I'm going to give this I'm going to go low 4.25. I'm going to go 4.2. I think this is a really well-made, tasty German-style Pilsner, and this is my first experience with a Urban Chestnut beer, and let me just tell you, they've done a phenomenal job. They just have. They've done a great job. Yeah, kudos to them for this one. I'm really looking forward to the Czech-style one. Typically, I like Czech-style Pilsners more than German. I think they're a little bit more balanced. Again, this one's a little, like I said, a little bit more bitter, a little bit more robust with the hops. Not over the top, but definitely for the, for a Pilsner, a little bit more oomph to them. So I think the Czech style is going to be a little bit more balanced. I think that's the one for me, but I'm giving this a 4.2 out of 5. We'll see how much better if the Czech style one is better. I don't know. That's why we review them. Price point availability, I want to say Curtis said this was like $10.99 a 4-pack. I think he said, or maybe $11.99, but in that realm. Yeah, that's really nice, especially since it is in a bigger bottle than your 16-ounce cans. I did see, though, they do have 16-ounce cans, so I don't know what the 16-ounce cans. I would imagine somewhere between $10 to $12, and that's a good price point. And availability, I have no idea with Urban Chestnut. Again, we don't get distro here in the Buffalo, New York area. I don't know how far out of St. Louis or out of Missouri in general they get, but if you get their stuff and you're outside of Missouri, let me know. I'd be curious to know their distribution footprint, because I have no idea, but I do know that Curtis was nice enough to send me a couple beers from them, and I'm glad he sent me just their, German-style Pilsner, Czech-style Pilsner. I like when I get breweries that you're just drinking a lager from them for the first time, or maybe like a pale ale, to see how well they brew beer. And I can just say off the first rip here, they can brew some beer, some really good beer. So once again, huge thanks to Curtis for this beer. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Again, if you've had this one before or anything from Urban Chestnut, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about their beer in general. Oh yeah, 5.4%. You can't taste it. Nowadays, I really don't. If I taste typically alcohol in a sub 6% beer, then I don't know. That's a rarity nowadays. So I always forget when I'm reviewing a lower ABV beer to even talk about the ABV. But it should be known that more often than not, I just don't taste the alcohol. I mean, I know this is a beer. I know this is a lager of some sort. But outside of that, you don't taste the alcohol. Anyway, to the next one. Prost.